Howdy, everybody, and welcome to Life Lesson Friday for March 24th, 2023. Um, so, hopefully, by this time next week, I will have a new phone because I think I'm going to go ahead and do that. In which case, I will be able to do these via my phone and not the laptop anymore. So they'll be a little bit more better, a little bit better quality, a little bit more better quality. So, but dealing with self doubt is something that I started thinking about this week. And I've, you may not know this, especially it might be hard for some people to realize or understand that somebody as dedicated as I am to the things that I do also deals with some self doubt. And it's been something that for me has been like a lifelong thing. I've had big moments of self doubt. And a lot of it goes back to I'm grew up as a very shy kid, um, really introverted, and I had friends, but I had very few close friends. And I'm still that way. I have very few close friends. I have a lot of friends, very few close friends. And for a lot of the time growing up, I thought that was, I doubted myself. I doubted that just because that's who I was. And I didn't realize that it was okay. Um, and so now, the more that I read about different subjects about health and mental health, I just finished the book a few weeks ago, Quiet, dealing with she dealt with introverts and extroverts and how they interact and what it truly means to be an introvert, and that you can be an extroverted introvert, which most people think that I'm an extrovert, and honestly, I'm an extroverted introvert. But dealing with that self doubt of like that's an introverted thing, and there's more introverts than there are extroverts out there. And so this is something that I think most people are going to resonate with because self doubt is it comes at you at times when you don't really obviously you don't want it to, you don't expect it to, but all of a sudden you're just like and other people don't understand it. I was talking with my business coach yesterday, and he was like, "Dude, what?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, I don't think that I'm good enough for that in this specific piece of my business." And he was like, "Are you nuts?" I mean, he didn't say it in that way, but that's basically like the interpretation is like, "Oh, yeah, I'm doubting myself. The rest of the world doesn't see me that way. And so why do I see myself that way?" And a lot of times we need to dig into that and figure out why do we see ourselves that way because of something someone said one time and we took it to heart versus just like maybe they were having a bad day, maybe the conversation was bad, maybe it was just that situation versus, and so one of the things that we tell our kids when they're bickering and they're arguing is never, whenever they say you're an idiot or you're rude or you're whatever it is that they're name calling to someone else, I said, we always come up and say, no, no, no. You can say you're acting like an idiot, but don't say you're an idiot. It's two completely different things. Okay. And, and I think that wasn't modeled for me as a kid. And so I think that's one of the things that like I purposely try to change that vocabulary. And you're not stupid. You may be acting stupid. You may be making a stupid decision, but you're not stupid. And so there's a different way of taking that in. And if we talk to each other that way and explain it in a way that is helpful, I think it removes those doubts because if the last thing that you heard from somebody was you're stupid, well then of course you're going to have difficulty interacting with that person or dealing with that situation again when it comes up, or whatever the case may be. And so it's how we talk to each other in those situations is huge when it comes to our confidence level and our discipline and our ability to follow through on tasks, and how we see ourselves in in comparison to how the world sees us or how the other people in the world see us. And so now I try as hard as I can to eliminate that doubt and recognize that I am at a level that I'm at. I am growing. I am doing the things that are making movement and impact. And and that's what I feel is my calling from God. That like I am supposed to. And I think I've said this before, but I know I've said it on my podcast that like God told me a couple years ago that He wanted me to impact 1 million people, and that's a huge number, and I'm very far from it, but I'm continuing on that journey. And is what I've noticed is as long as I take my plans out of the picture and follow God's plans, those things happen, right? Those things start to happen. As soon as I put my own plans into it, that's when the doubt comes in and it's like, oh my gosh, well, I couldn't do that. I wouldn't be able to do that. There's no way I can accomplish that. But when it's God's plans, then those things happen. And from a for those of you that follow me, um, that I just recently went up to Louisville and ran in a race up there. And one of the reasons why I'm doing those races, one is I love it and it's a passion, and God gave me that passion. God gave me that ability. But the other is to show people that it's not over, right? Like there's so many ways that you can continue to fulfill your passion. That just because you reach a certain number of age, a chronological number of age, life's not over. You can't give up. You can't just say, okay, well, those things are not possible anymore. And because those things are doubting, you're doubting yourself. You're doubting your ability to continue on in whatever the task is that makes you passionate, that brings you joy. And so removing that doubt. And so that's one of the reasons why I continue to push for that. The other reason is, I mean, it is, there is a drive and a passion, and I love the competitiveness, and that's a piece of what God gave me, and so I'm going to use that platform as best I can to get the word out. And every race that I've gone to, I've been able to talk to somebody about my relationship with the Lord, and so that also I think is benefiting the bigger picture, and that bigger picture is sharing the gospel with people because that is what ultimately I'm here for. Um, I'm doing it through health and wellness and improving your body and improving your life and improving your overall health and giving you some longevity to life and helping you reach your goals and doing all those things. But ultimately, it's because that's what God wants. And He wants us to prosper and have beautiful lives and have a relationship with each other and to connect and to build each other up. And that's what I think this life is about. And so I'm going to keep promoting that. And the best way to be able to do that is to remove those self doubts. And one of the things that I was growing up, I would, like I said, I was shy, I was introverted, I hated speaking in front of people, like shaking, like ridiculous nerves, never looked at anybody in the room. And now I speak. I mean, I've done 3 speaking engagements already this year, and like I speak all the time, and I would love to be speaking more than I am now. As far as in front of groups, not necessarily just on video, but I talk to people all the time, and in an interviews format or in a video format, and it's something now that I realize that was all self doubt. That was not the way I was created. That was all self doubt back then, and I don't have to doubt anymore. He's given me the talents and the gifts and the abilities to do these things. And so all I have to do is continue to learn about the subjects and topics that he's given me a passion for so I can continue to be even a deeper and better expert in those topics and things. But also to quit doubting the fact that he put me here to be able to share with other people and be able to help them. So it's a little or a little dual. Why do I do these Life Lesson Fridays? Why do I have the podcast? But also attacking how do we deal with self doubt? It's something I think most of us deal with, and if you can get that out of the way, you're going to see massive movement in your life.